Your favorite film? Oh, well, if I'm in respectable company, I would say Apocalypse Now, because it's a story about insanity and gets to the kernel of the insanity of war. But if I'm just sitting on the bus, I say Blazing Saddles, Caddyshack. Like, why that didn't get every possible Academy Award just escapes me. My favorite films would be films. It's the films I saw as a young person, and the freedom of being able to leave your mom's apartment, have some money, which I earned on my own, to go to a movie, to be in an adult environment, never was lost on Ian and I. We were best friends since we were 12. We'd save our money and go see movies. We saw Apocalypse Now together and walked out of there like, what just happened to us? Like exhaust was coming out of our ears. We saw Taxi Driver together and walked home in total silence, like, the world is a horrible place. I saw what's the first David Lynch film? Eraserhead. I saw Eraserhead and Freaks as a double feature alone. Like a 10 p.m. and a midnight show, and walked home at like 1:30 in the morning. And so, seeing those films had massive impact on me. Going to see Godfather with my father was terrifying because there's like a large black man 2 rows over from us making some sound, and my dad said, "Hey, shut up!" I'm like, "We are dead." Because my father was a racist, and the worst times he would say, like, I'd go there for the weekend visit, the 48 hours of fear with my father. He'd say, "Roll down your window," which means he's going to yell at some minority guy out the car. And some Asian fellow driving a car, and I'd sink down to the seat and he'd yell, some racial slur. I'm like, "You're ruining my life. I can't wait to get back to my mom and her Bob Dylan and Miles Davis records." So my favorite films, I guess, were the ones I watched growing up. A young Al Pacino, a young De Niro, those kind of epic Coppola films, Scorsese films. I watch films now mainly on airplanes. I rarely go to a movie theater. I like making them. I just finished one called Dreamland. It'll be out soon. It's me and Juliette Lewis. It's pretty cool. Okay, a story from a film I was in called Heat. So, what was it like being your character? Okay, it's the most interesting audition I ever did. Because these days I take meetings, I get parts, but when I was younger, I would go on auditions and get humiliated left and right. So, at one point, Bonnie Timmerman, the legendary casting person, she's casting Michael Mann's film Heat. And she contacts me and she's, "Henry, it's nice to talk to you again." She has "No, you can't." So how's my audition? I watched it. She will give you nothing. "I like you for a small part in Michael Mann's new film." So I go to Century City where Michael Mann has some production office for like an 11 a.m. meet about some thug I'm going to play. 11, 11:30, 12, 12:30. I'm sitting there reading Time magazine going, I want to leave because I have to take 2 public buses to get home. I don't have a car, I'm broke. And she comes out, "Henry, I know you probably want to leave right now. You're very hyperactive and intense. You're going to get this part, so I need you to be patient. Michael's running behind," which happens. So I'm like, okay. And so finally, "Michael, see you now." And I go and I meet the great Michael Mann, who's friendly enough, kind of intense. He said, "Look, I don't know who you are. I don't know if you can act or not. Bonnie likes you," which means you're probably going to get this because she's casting the film. He said, "However, I've got drama in my movie. Pacino and De Niro are having some lifelong argument, and there's going to be drama on this set. I don't need more drama in this film. I have enough already. So if you get this part, you have scenes with Al Pacino. If Al doesn't like you, I have more drama in my movie. And so we're going to have to find out if Al Pacino likes you or not." I'm like, "Huh?" I go, "Okay, yes, sir. So how do I find out if Al Pacino likes me?" And I said, "You're going to have lunch with Al Pacino, and we're going to see what he thinks of you." I said, "Okay, so what day are we doing that?" He went, "We're leaving now." I'm like, "What?" And we get in his car, and we drive out. We were somewhere in Century City, so we go like to Beverly Hills or something, some nice eatery. And we're early, he's late, something. We sit down, and I've met Michael Mann like 30 minutes ago. I'm like, "Hi, Mr. Mann. I don't know what to do." I'm some thick-necked, like psycho. And Al Pacino walks in, Dog Day Afternoon, Godfather. I mean, are you kidding? I stood up. I was like, "Mr. Pacino." He's like, "Call me Al." I'm like, "I can't do that." So I calm down, heart rate decreases. We have this lunch, and Al Pacino's nice. Waitress is like, Mr. Pacino, call me Al, how do you do? He's like friendly to everyone. And so we have a few laughs, and at the end of the meal, he looks over at Michael Mann. Michael, I like him. And that's how I got the part in Heat. And so most of my scenes were with Al Pacino, and you may have seen the film, it's amazing. My body double, my stunt double throws Pacino's stunt double through a real plate of glass. He got his head split open, he got to get stitched up, but we got the shot. I fall on rubberized glass. Al Pacino descends on top of me, you rat bastard, and arrests me. And after 2 takes of him like slapping me, he said, don't want to hurt me. I said, Al, it doesn't look real. There's nothing you can do to this face except sue it. So just let me have it. And he went, okay. I mean, he's for real. The next take, he grabs my hair so hard. It's like that when your older brother drags you by your hair down the hall, you've been numb for a year and a half, it goes numb. I'm like, but I have to stay in character, like, hey, I hate you. He slaps me so hard, my face went numb. You rat bastards, kapow! All my 2 molars and snot flies out of my mouth. It's Michael Mann. It's gonna take 80 more takes, and every take, kapow! Now my shoulder's going numb. I mean, my face was a wreck. My hair is like, and so he arrests me, and the scene ends. I'm arrested, waiting to get thrown in the paddy wagon or something. They're real handcuffs. I really can't get out of them. It's a Michael Mann film. There's not stunt cuffs. They're like real ex-Nazis, real guns, real everything. And I'm sitting on this couch. I'm a little guy in a big film. Props doesn't care about uncuffing me. They have to, can we please get props? Oh, like the actor needs to be uncuffed. You know, I'm having lunch, let him sit. And so it would take like 5 minutes between takes for me to get uncuffed. So I'm sitting there on a couch like an idiot waiting to be uncuffed. Al Pacino, the gentleman that he is, would sit with me and keep me company. Someone give me a magic marker. I'm gonna put a mustache on him. I can't do anything. Look at his face. Look at his face, huh? I'm like, ah! And it was so much fun. And everyone's in hysterics because the singer in Black Flag is getting messed with by Al Pacino. Has no idea of my background whatsoever. People are like, oh man. And every day I'd see Al. Hey Al, how are you? Just to say something to him. I go, how are you? A throwaway statement. He would think about it. Henry, I'm not doing very well. I think I pulled a muscle in my leg. He was just so friendly to everyone on the set. He was, and that's basically my Heat story. Also, you'd work an entire day, like a 15-hour day, and everything you shot, none of it would get used. There's so much of that film that never got used. This whole massive scene I did, not a second of it got used, and interesting. And I didn't get invited to the premiere because I'm a little actor. So me and my lawyer and my manager, we just bought tickets and went to go see it at Mann's Chinese Theater in Hollywood. And I remember when my face first appeared on the screen, a bunch of people went, oh, Christ. I was like, oh. Yeah. Best Black Flag memory. Well, there's a lot of them. Well, it was a tough band to be in because we weren't very nice people, because basically we were like 4 or 5, depending on the lineup, 4 or 5 hyenas on the Serengeti. Audiences weren't always nice to us. Audience in those days could be very inflexible as to what the music could be, while Greg Ginn is like continually morphing, like he's writing 7-minute songs that go this fast. And you know, like the My War material, and you try whipping that out on a bunch of people in Santa Barbara on a Friday night, and like, you know, beer mugs, ashtrays. And so I ended up getting kind of pummeled by the audience. I have cigar burns in my legs from people putting out their cigarettes on me. One guy in Colorado took a big lighter to heat up a certain part of my anatomy. It didn't help. I have that's scars from a boot. My guy kicked me in the head, and that's the same thing. I got kicked in the head there. If you shave my eyebrows, you'd see multiple scars from rings with knuckles with rings. A lot of concussions, like knocked out cold on stage. A lot of sutures in my head, just from the audience. And so after a few rounds of that, you kind of are ready to hit anybody. And also, I'm a young idiot. Our audience are young idiots, so there's always the skinhead. Like, if I had $1 for every time a skinhead girl came up to the van in the afternoon in some parking lot of some awful club we're wasting away in. My boyfriend's a skinhead, he's going to come beat you up after the show. chances are that guy would materialize, and I'm the road crew, so I'm loading out the snare drum and the kick drum. Hey dude, who do you think you are? I'm good looking, smart, but humble about it, underpaid and underappreciated, and I gotta go load the crap. And I just tried to make a joke, and all of a sudden, there's this, and I was going, boom, just like to keep loading the gear. And I ended up breaking more men's noses than I can count, just so I could, like, guy keeps hitting me, like, crack, gotta finish the song. It just, hitting men just became, it's Thursday, punch. And like, I never liked it, I was never very good at it, but damn, I did it a lot. And those aren't the best parts. Here's the best parts, the best memories of being a Black Flag was our incredible work ethic. And I came from the minimum wage working world, I told you this story tonight, into this band. So I thought I was a hardworking person. My father and my mother, brutally hardworking. I have a lot of that. I thought I understood hard work until I joined that band. And before my first show, we practiced 6 to 7 days a week for 6 weeks before they let me on stage and sing. And I said, I'm ready. They said, you're not ready. You're not anywhere near ready. So August 21st, 1981, when I finally was on stage, I hate to be vulgar, but this is the truth. This is Huntington Beach, the Cuckoo's Nest, Costa Mesa. I'm standing there like about to do this show, and a young guy walked up to the front, looked up at me and said, you better be good, faggot. And I was like, well, nice to meet you too. But after all that practice, I knew I was ready, and we killed that audience. We did 2 sets, we destroyed that crowd. And so the best memory of being in that band is we were a really good band, and we were unstoppable. So when people write me like, hey man, I'm in a band, we're thinking about touring, what do you think we should do? I always try and be nice and say, well, just try and have fun and don't murder the bass player. It's so hard. Keep your hands off his throat. But what I would say if I was with that person in front of them, I'd say the fact that you asked me if you should go on tour or not, you should probably stay home, because the real thing doesn't ask. Iggy Pop never asked anybody about his music. He just kicks your ass with it. David Bowie never asked. Black Sabbath never asked. They just run you over with it. Black Flag never asked. And so even when I was 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25, and starving in Black Flag, if anyone said, so, are you guys ever gonna be successful? Like, we're successful every day because we're still here. You wanna stop me, you're gonna have to kill me. So I never had any doubts that I would do very well in music and everything else, because I come from the ethic, to stop me, you need to shoot me, because I will not stop. I have nothing to stop for. So that's the best memory of Black Flag, is getting that work ethic as being part of your everyday. Like, band practice for us between tours was 2 sets a night. Like, you try that 2 sets a night, man. Like, the only thing that got me through it, I was young. Otherwise, and then Greg Ginn was the guy. He was kind of the leader of the band. He was one of those vegetarian, got every possible cold. He's always like sick and throwing up. We'd play some murderous 2-set night in Minneapolis, no breathable air. He gets off the stage for the second show before the encore, finds a trash can, vomits his body source into it. And we're like, Craig, just sit down. Des will take over the guitar. We got 2 guitar players. He's like completely covered in sweat. He's like, no, I'll be okay. And we just get out there and keep playing. With like just vomit down his, like, guy's unstoppable. I have to be like that. And so those are the best memories, the fact that you couldn't stop us. We won. That's it. And those weren't tours, we went into war, and they're not songs, they're battle hymns. So I take all that pretty seriously. Best band tour lineup. I have